Hi, my name is Jeff Prentice, and I wanted to talk about design elements and principles. And I think the best thing to do would be to look at some student work from a 2D design course that I developed and taught, where we used color from the first assignment. So let's go through these. We've got unity, emphasis, scale, balance, rhythm and line, shape, space, and motion. I think when we're talking about unity here, we've seen this before in an example, but what unifies this are these repeated shapes. So it's the subject matter and this repeated color. We have, again, subject matter that creates a sense of unity here with these shoes and feet. And then finally, related forms that create a sense of unity. So there's variety in color and there's variety in the individual shapes, but they're related. Next we have emphasis. I've got one in here. I think you can see here that the focal point that's created through the diagonal lines that are pointing directly to the focal point, and also the careful editing of the negative space, which eliminates a lot of this energy, a lot of this visual, these dots and transparencies and lines and text that you can see in here. But it's all very carefully focused through line and through kind of a compaction of that area where the focal point is found. So there's, and also the lightest part of the composition is the focal point. Now note also that it's the smallest area, so those focal points can be very, very powerful, so don't make them too big. Scale. This was an assignment that was meant to be somewhat humorous, but you can see here contrasting scale can really bring impact to a design. A large hand, small people, giant animals, smaller buildings. I think this kind of humor and this kind of like turning things on their head can be very successful. Balance. I think we can see here that this piece is balanced. There's a large area of achromatic values, and then there's this one tiny rose, a nice little focal point. But the gaze on this, what we call the gaze, the way the figures are looking off, also you notice that looking off the page at a different angle, and then almost in the center, this one little subdivision. So it's very carefully balanced here with the forms, with the weight, with the individual elements. Another one, again, balanced. You can see the figures balanced by the staff with the bird and in this central element. Carefully planned asymmetry here. Rhythm and line. You can see here the line of this attenuated figure really has a lot of movement and I think a lot of visual power in using that line. We read it in kind of a rhythmic as we come down and encounter these different individual dark, larger elements. It kind of slows our trajectory down. Here's another one. Not only is there line in the background that's creating this undulating rhythm, but there's line in the shoe. Here, another similar one. Larger lines filled up with smaller lines. So it creates a very rich reading that's organized by these what Edward Tufte would call macro-micro kinds of relationships. Shape. You can see here that same size shapes or similar shapes can create unity in a design. Repeated shapes. These are the CD covers here. In a space project, we're trying to go back as far as possible using atmospheric perspective and scale into the space. So this was a project where you know, the dinosaur looking in through the open window and then looking back at that foliage there. And here, look at this city. Look how far back we're looking, 20 miles into this city that's lit up. This is a very good example of large, medium, and tiny shapes cropped that are developing a dynamic and interesting kind of composition. And finally, in motion, we have blurred motion and we have stop motion. So these can all be seen on my website, but I wanted to share them.